Hello, I am on my way to BBC Radio Leicester studios where I will be live on the Afro-Caribbean Culture Show at 7 p.m. very soon. Hope to see you there. Here I am live outside BBC Radio Leicester where I'm about to go on air to talk about the She Swims event Saturday the 13th of June. All about empowering women of colour in Leicester to learn to swim and, most importantly, to become a swimming teacher. We have funded spaces from British Triathlon to swim. 2 people can swim 50% off for 12 weeks and 1 person fully funded 12 weeks of swimming, but can become a fully qualified swimming teacher and have full mentorship from me to try and increase diversity amongst the poolside.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have had her on the show before, and the lovely woman that started a club for Black and Asian women in Leicester, she now has years of teaching them the potentially life-saving skill of swimming. Now, Unity Swimming at Braunston Leicester Centre was thought up by teacher Katrice Rodriguez, who grew up being amongst the ethnic minority in her classes and wanted adult learners to be given another chance with her Unity Swimming Open Day that's coming up. And I'm so pleased to say she joins me right now in the studio. Hello, my lovely. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, pleasure to have you. Thank you for taking the time to come and have a chat with me this evening. So, producer Kevin has been smiling from ear to ear because you and other clubs in the area are supporting him during the 1,000 Mile Challenge when it was taken up by some of our BBC local radio presenters and producers. So, how was he?
It was a pleasure to work with Kevin. So, I did some one-to-ones with him at Leicester University Pool, and then I had the pleasure of supporting him when he did the final challenge when they did it, and I did the final length with him, but he took on board everything I said and really improved and tried. It was a pleasure to work with him.
Oh, amazing. So he wasn't a diva about it then?
No.
We do love our Kevin. Now, I'm not so sure if he's been heading back to the pool to practice anymore, regularly ever since. But how are your new crop of students? Do you keep at it? Do people keep coming back and keep going and keep going?
Yeah, so since we started in 2022, we've now got 3 different pools across Leicester. So we've got 2 ladies only classes and then a mixed class as well.
That's amazing.
So we've got people that are in beginners classes, intermediate, and then on a Friday with the adults mixed class, we have all the way up to advanced swimmers.
Nice.
So they can start from complete beginners. We have people that are completely fearful, and then they always completely surpass everything they think they're going to be able to do, and people get to the point where they're jumping in, they're diving in, they're happy, and they can get in with their family, which makes a difference. So it makes a difference to their families.
That is honestly absolutely amazing, because me personally, I kind of relate to this. I think I may have actually told you this before. When I was a kid, I was like a fish, right? I loved being in the water, and then I was bullied a little bit as a child. When it was time, just kids being kids, making comments about my swimming costume or whatever, or I was a bigger girl, so making comments to a point where I created a complete phobia, all in my own head. I created a phobia of getting in the water. I didn't swim for years, to a point where I had to almost have lessons again. So I really appreciate what you do. Now I'm out here with my goggles doing handstands. Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate what you do, and of course, you've got this Unity Swimming Open Day, which is amazing. So tell us a bit more about that.
So Unity Swimming Open Day, we're really blessed to have funding from British Triathlon.
Nice.
So they've funded us so we can empower the women of colour in Leicester. So we have got 2 funded spaces for 50% off 12 weeks of swim tuition.
Wow.
And then we've got a fully funded space for one lady to swim and learn to swim or improve her swimming skills for 12 weeks and then be a fully qualified swimming teacher and get mentorship from myself.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Do you know what I mean? That could really change somebody's life.
Definitely. Yeah,
I love
definitely.
that. I love that. Now, I know you run, as you say, the Unity Swimming that teaches people from a Black and Asian background, and a skill that, which could literally save their life.
Yeah.
You could be at a pool, you could be on the beach. These skills are literally life-saving. And, as you say, it's not just for beginners, is it? You can also be a little bit okay at swimming. You can be quite all right. It's just for all enthusiastic swimmers, no?
Yeah, exactly. So if you're maybe, a lot of the people come to me and their parents or grandparents and they're like, oh, my grandkids or my kids are getting in and they're loving it. So I just need to be in there with them. And like you said, they need to make sure they're safe in the water. If anything happens, then they need to be there with them. But also they're missing out on the fun and like the feeling that you get in the water, and the water just holding you. So this is why I do what I do, because a lot of the Caribbean, Asian, Black and Asian communities came up to me and said, do you do adults lessons? Do you do adults lessons? So then that's what I did. So we've got this event, Saturday the 13th of June, She Swims, so that we can tell people about the funding and how people can get the funded spaces and apply for those spaces. So this is why we do what we do. And when you were saying about things can happen, especially in the beach and undercurrents, sadly in the news recently, and it always happens when we get hot weather, unfortunately a lot of people end up drowning.
Yes.
Because they think, actually it's really hot, I want to dip, but cold water shock can get you. And in this country especially, just because it's hot outside, the water hasn't changed. And sadly, unfortunately, it disproportionately happens to Black women, Black men. So Black and Asian women are twice as likely to drown than white women in the UK, and then Black and Asian men are 3 times more likely to drown than white men in the UK. And sadly, there was a few weeks ago, there was 3 Black women that lost their lives in the sea on Brighton Beach a couple of weeks ago. So it's really important. We've got National Drowning Prevention Week coming up soon in June. So it's the right time, and we're here to support the women in Leicester. And like you said, there are barriers such as, might you want to cover up a bit more? You might not want to swim with men, or you might just want to have that safe space that Unity has, where it's just people that look like you, or people that also maybe their parents didn't swim or they're learning a bit later. And you just don't have to kind of like talk about it or question it. And that's what we do at Unity Swimming.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, let's go to the elephant in the room, because I know this is definitely got to be a topic of a conversation, because when it comes to, Black swimming students, right, and putting them through their paces, let's talk hair. Because one thing that I know is that when I've had a good old time in the pool, the hair routine that needs to go in after it is wild. Do you know what I mean? But how are people overcoming actually messing up the crowning glory, as to say? So, like, what do you have people coming to you and being like, is there any way that I can, or are they just like, yeah, let me get in, let me live my best life, sod it, do you know what I mean, kind of thing?
That's a really good question, because a lot of people, especially Black women, it stops them even getting in the water because of the hair issue. So when I used to swim as a girl, I used to swim competitively for about 10 years.
Amazing.
And there wasn't really a solution then. I remember my mum really struggling to get all my braids in this swimming hat. She did somehow, but I don't know how. But luckily, these days, there are big swimming caps, long hair caps, big swimming caps on the market. However, not many of them actually really keep your hair dry.
Okay.
So I use a swim cap called Swim Scarf, and they are actually sponsoring the She Swims event.
Amazing.
So yeah, if you come to the She Swims event, we've got exclusive discounts, and I'll show you how you use it. But they actually have it's like a do-rag with a toggle at the back of your hair. So you can pull it tight with elastic and then tie it around the front as well. And they come in funky colours. So they look good, as well as they actually do keep your hair dry. So there are solutions out there. Yes, they're a bit more expensive, but they do last a long time. So it's possible, ladies and even men with the locks, big hair, long hair, you can go swimming and you can keep your hair not bone dry, more or less dry, so then you don't have to go through the washing the chlorine out and the dry hair and all of that. So there are solutions.
That's good to know. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And, you mentioned the event on the 13th, though. Can we get a little bit more information about that?
So Saturday the 13th of June at the Afro-Caribbean Centre Leicester. From 1 o'clock, we will be there, and it is free to register, free to come. You need to register so we can kind of like find out how many numbers there are. We're on Luma Events, but if you check out Unity Swimming social media pages, we're on Facebook and LinkedIn. We've been posting there, so you'll find the link there, but it's luma.com, Luma Events. Register for free. It is mainly celebrating the women, so you're going to have past swimmers there, current swimmers there,
nice.
Swim teachers there, and we're also unveiling our new Unity Swimming uniform.
Love.
So you'll see that, and then we have got other sponsors where they're there with supporting things, vouchers and discount codes as well. So Saturday the 13th of June, they can register online, Unity Swimming socials.
That's amazing. It sounds like it's going to be a great day. Honestly, it sounds fantastic. Now, I have a question, because you're an advanced aquaphobia coach. In simple terms, what does that mean?
So in 2022, I started up Unity Swimming, so primarily for adults from Black and Asian communities. But what I found is a lot of them were held back by fear. And similar to your story, they might have had a bad experience, and children, they just get on with it and they can get in. But as adults, we have more fear and we overthink things, which is completely normal.
Yeah.
So I trained with the Institute of Aquaphobia to become an advanced aquaphobia coach. So I'm not just a Swim England tutor. I trained and did extra training so that I can support people to overcome their fear and actually get in the water. So I've got another business called Swim Fearless, where I help people all over the world to overcome their fear with an online course, online coaching, as well as private swim tuition. So it's specialist.
That's fantastic, honestly. And I know also you have an involvement with Swim England. Tell me a bit about that.
Yes. So as well as Unity Swimming being an affiliated Swim England club, and we use the Swim England stages, I am a Swim England tutor. So what that means is I travel the country and I deliver swim teacher qualifications.
Cool.
Yeah. So what I've found, though, is in 2019, when I first kind of like upskilled to become a Swim England tutor back into the swimming world and full-time working there, that as soon as I kind of stepped out of Leicestershire, particularly, the lack of representation on the pool side was showing. And I kind of knew it when I was a girl, because when I used to swim competitively, late 80s, early 90s, there wasn't really anybody that looked like me in swimming. If you think about all the Olympic events in swimming, in diving, in and the open water ones, rowing, anything water-based, lack of diversity. So one of my real big aims is to increase diversity amongst Team GB Aquatics team, so all of the water-based Olympics events, to 45% by Olympics 2032.
That's amazing.
And we're starting by empowering people to become swim teachers. So Unity Swimming has funding in the past from the Institute of Swimming, and we've trained up about 10 assistant teachers and one fully qualified level 2, and then obviously we've got the funding now to get another person and a woman specifically this time to be a fully qualified swim teacher.
If people wanted to find out more information, please just relay back to us where they can find more information and where they can get the socials. So if they're sitting at home right now and they're thinking, do you know what, I'm encouraged, I would love to learn to swim again, or even just to get back in the water, find that confidence, where would they need to go?
Well, Unity Swimming is on Facebook. We're on Instagram. It's literally just at Unity Swimming. But we have a website. You can book directly there. It's got information about all 3 classes that we run weekly. We're actually the only swim school, the only organisation in the UK that do weekly classes specifically for Black and Asian communities. So www.unityswimming.co.uk, and that's where you can find out the information. You can book directly. You can also book a call with me if you wanted to have a chat with me if you're not sure. But even if you didn't book Unity Swimming, if they're not convenient, if they're not nearby, just get in the water, get that moral support and get in the water.